with you all, and it really is an honor to be among people who honor God. I've been known to get emotional in front of people. Yeah. And honor our country and those who have served our country. I've been told I got 2 hours with you guys, right? I'm going to talk for about 10 minutes and then open it up for Q&A as well, just because I know there'll be more questions than there are answers on my part. I personally got involved with anti-human trafficking when I was a pastor overseas in India, and I'd rescued 12 girls, 9 years old. It ruined me, and it still ruins me. My wife quit her job, started a company that all they do is help girls in India. I came back, I was still a pastor, but I had this conflict that this has to be happening here in the United States. And if it is, why aren't we doing anything about it? And sure enough, I started meeting with, this was back in 2010, I started meeting with just everybody. And started finding out that there's a niche that we had, that we could bring, that our group comes from a very special elite military group in the Army. And that stuff that was done overseas, the tactics and trade overseas, can work perfectly here to stop trafficking here. Because one of the things we found out about was that trafficking is happening here. And when I say trafficking, we focus on sex trafficking of minors. That means that girls ages 12 to 14, that's the average age of entry into this in the United States. 80% of those girls are from the United States, so we're not bringing these girls in from other countries, it's from here. And we estimate that 150 youth will be trafficked in Central Oregon this year. And so this back up in 2010, we started realizing that those that we've tasked to counter this problem, law enforcement and other groups, weren't working together, weren't trained. So that's one of the things we did. We started training for free and very specialized training on how this happens and how we can really go after this problem. And so one of the things we did is, once you get in and do the training, they started realizing who our people were. We bring in the best in the nation to do this training. And then we started helping out with the intelligence behind this. One of the things how this happens in the United States, I know some of you guys have seen the movie Taken, and you think that's how it happens, where they just kidnap the girls. Sometimes that does happen, but a lot of times it happens through luring the girls. Sometimes it could be a day, sometimes it could be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and these guys, these pimps, are experts at that. They go down into elementary school playgrounds and watch which girls they can get when they're in junior high, and it's just out there. Unfortunately, it's kind of under the radar. So what we've done is we've come alongside law enforcement to be a task multiplier for them. We actually find one of the ways it happens is online. So it happens on the street, but it really happens online. So we scour the internet all the time. We're in with, just last week we were in with Facebook, Google, Salesforce. We met with the prior National Security Advisor, who just got us in touch with Ivanka Trump. So even though we're based here in Central Oregon, we have a reach that's national now. And that comes from gaining the respect and trust of law enforcement. They don't see us as vigilantes. We come alongside them and help them. You had a question?
I'm so naive. What is trafficking exactly? How do you define trafficking? What's happening?
So if the person is over 18, if force, fraud, or coercion is involved. So it's an exchange of value for sex. So that's what we're looking at. So it could just be somebody buying McDonald's burger for the girl and exchanging sex for that, but it's usually money, and that's why these pimps are out there. They make an average of $35,000 a week on these girls, and that's about having 4 to 5 girls under them. So yeah.
You reference girls all the time.
Boys,
it's only girls?
No, boys, it's hard to know the percentages. The majority are girls. If boys are involved, it's going to be really underground. It's going to be through poly Hollywood and some other ways that we're not seeing online. Everything we do it through open source investigations, open source intelligence. So it's anything if you're on the internet, we can find you. We can find out a lot about you. And it's nothing illegal with that. So there's that level of it. And then you go below, it's the dark web. You've heard of the deep dark web. That's where they're trading crazy stuff. We work with law enforcement on the open source stuff that can go and become prosecutable. So that's in a nutshell what we do. There's a couple handouts on your table that talks a little bit about it. But just to give the estimates on this, is that this is a $9 billion a year industry. And that went up from $1 billion 10 years ago. So this crime is increasing. And then that's why a lot of these law enforcement officers and agencies are reaching out to ask for our help. We just were hit up last week by the Department of Homeland Security to be an advisory team with them as well. Because as they are looking at how to actually stop this, they need some experts on how it actually happens, and that's where we come in. We have a group here in Central Oregon. That's where we're based out of. So even though we're based out of Central Oregon, we work all around the United States. We've hit about 250 cases we've worked already, and we're really starting to pick that up now because now we're working with other agencies as well. So I know that's, in a nutshell, that's kind of what we do. We have two sides of Guardian Group. One is the defensive side, and one's the offensive side. That's mainly the offensive approach that you guys have heard. The defensive is education, prevention, getting into hotels. We created an online training for hotels because that's where the John, which is the buyer, the trafficker, and the victim all come and join up there. So we've trained a lot of hotels right now. We just got picked up by California. They had 1,800 hotels. The reason that's important is because California just passed a law requiring every hotel to go through training. And we're on that, to be that recipient of that training. So there's that preventative side, yeah.
And so, I'm Dawn, nice to meet you. I'm with the Comfort Suites here in Redmond.
Yeah.
And our staff has had human trafficking training.
Perfect.
We do it, I think we're only required to do it once a year, but we do it like every 6 months.
Great. I'd love to talk to you about that.
Absolutely. Just so that everybody, keeps an eye out, because a lot of times it's not the guy you think, the creepy looking dude, it's usually not him.
Yeah.
So the training is essential in no matter what background or what profession, that we're in, is to be able to see that.
Yeah.
So I thank you.
No, this is.
I went to high school in Las Vegas.
Oh, you definitely, yeah.
Yeah, and just to get on and off the parking lot, as a 16-year-old kid in middle school, as a 14-year-old kid, the pimps were right there. And this was years ago before anybody really did, a lot. And it's here in the smaller towns. It's not just a big city problem.
Yeah, so locally we've worked a bunch of cases. One is this guy with pimp was coming up out of LA and getting girls from here and then bringing them down. And that's hard to hear, that people are actually coming to our city to get girls. We have created an initiative, started last year, that we're sealing Central Oregon. And so what that means is that a percentage of our law enforcement is going to be trained. A percentage of our hotels are trained. We have a response team in place. And those are already happening. We just trained all the fire department 2 weeks ago in Bend. So we want to make this a place that it's inhospitable to traffickers, that we are watching where it's not going to happen here. And we've got the backing behind the city council, the mayor, DA's office, and among others. So it's really, we could talk about the horrible problem of trafficking, and everyone leaves here, pretty bummed out, or we can talk about the good things that are happening. Communities are coming together to stop this. Companies are coming together, law enforcement's coming together. A lot of people are actually taking a step to make sure that this is not going to be around in a few years. And it may not be in our lifetime, but we're working as if it were. We live by these values at Guardian Group. A ferocious resolve and perseverance, quiet professionalism and servant leadership, trust and transparency, quality, impact, and intense leverage. We live by these. And because we know if we're going to try to put a stop to this, we have to be at the front of the fight to stop this. So that's a little bit about Guardian.
Is there a profile of the girls that might get picked up, and is there a profile of the pimps?
Yes, and it's pimps. You can have organized crime. So we know that the Mexican cartel comes through here. You have just the gangs, pimps, families do it as well. So we had a girl that stayed with us for a year. Her grandparents had pimped her out. So those are the types, you know. And they all. It's you can each one of them you could break down pretty significantly. On the victim side, girls from broken homes, from the foster care, but also from good homes. The girl that was taken from here down to LA, she was from a great home. But each one of them, it's very complex issue, and that's why sometimes law enforcement doesn't want to get involved, because it is, if a girl is in it for a while, she does not think that she's a victim. You can't ask her to come out of it because she doesn't even think that she is. It's that Stockholm syndrome. But if you can catch it early enough, yeah, you can get that out.
Assuming you have security personnel from your organization watching the schools, what legally can they do if they target somebody?
If the pimp targets somebody?
Yeah, or if you identify somebody as a pimp and he's going to be doing something, what legally can you do?
There's a bunch of laws that are coming out or have come out already. So if they're just even reaching out to the girl to talk to her and saying certain things, they can go after him for that. And it's the laws are actually coming in. Oregon used to be graded with a D, so they grade every state. It's moved up to, I think, a B or an A right now because the laws are catching up.
You mentioned in the beginning that you rescued 9 girls.
Yeah. There's 12 out of India.
12 out of India?
Yeah.
When you rescue them, I mean, what's the process after they got out of that?
Yeah, that's... And we're cautious about saying the word rescue here in the States. We help recover girls. Rescue, in India it is straight up. I stuck $12,000 on my body when you're not allowed to fly with that much money. No one else is going to do this. Yeah. So it is straight up rescuing them for that. So $12,000 bought the lives of these girls. We have a partner out there that we were able to. The next morning, once we did this, they met us at the top of the building and they were free. And so we had a great group out there that we got them into jobs, so they were never tempted to go back or leave. We got them housing, we got them full wraparound services as well.
Like counseling and
All
things
that.
like that, because I'm sure that they're tore down to nothing.
Yeah,
You know, they're told you're nothing, you're, you know, this is what you're meant to be, you're
For
gonna
sure.
do this, and
yeah.
nobody wants you, and you have no home.
So even though we focus on stopping the problem, we started the Central Oregon Task Force. What we do is we partner with groups that do the aftercare. We partner with groups that do their specialties. We don't pretend like we do that. We're very specialized at what we do and help stop the problem.
So if we see something that is suspicious,
Yeah.
do we call the law enforcement?
Call law enforcement. You can always call us as well.
Right.
So sometimes there's that gray area and we can help push law enforcement, hey, this is a real case.
Mm-hmm.
That happens a lot. Yeah.
She said when we see something, you know, there's a way of seeing, but if you're not looking for something, you may look right at it and not
Oh yeah.
understand it.
But once you've seen it, yeah.
Help
And
us.
we literally have trainings that go on for hours, but my thing would be is get a hold of us. You got our information here, and we can give you guys trainings. It's online. There's some quick tools that we have as well, because once you see it, then you definitely it's easy to see around here. So we want to help, but yeah, there's a lot of indicators. A lot of indicators for the pimps, the victims. They use another person called the bottom, so we'll share about that and what that looks like as well.
With the advent of the internet and all the stuff that goes on in the social media where we read all the time about some youngster meets some guy on the internet. What goes on with that kind of stuff? Are you monitoring the internet, and if you see something, how do you know what you're seeing is?
They use certain words, they use emojis, which are all those little symbols. There's certain, they speak their own language. We're working with Amazon now as well. They use artificial intelligence and machine learning, so we're telling them, hey, this is what it looks like, so it helps define that as well. So what we do is we could see the interactions. So they do this all, and that once the internet came out, that's when it skyrocketed. Really started doing this. I could go to a website right now, and we could probably pull up 10 girls, 15 girls here in Redmond and Bend that you can call up and purchase right now. That's how sick it is. Yeah.
Is there a training that's available for the potential victims? Like, are you in middle schools, or are there programs in middle schools, you know, making
Yes.
these young?
Yeah, I know of one in Redmond that's taking place. We're actually redeveloping one for all of Central Oregon as well. We do a women's and girls self-defense class that we also train on that. We do that every 6 weeks. I think it's next week we're doing that again. So there's different ways. We do get into schools because it is important for them to realize, hey, this is, and it's sad that we have to, I've got junior hires, but the reality is we have to teach them to be aware of what to look for. And it's not just for them, it's for their friends as well.
So is Guardian Group exclusive to Central Oregon?
No.
Or is it a
No,
national?
we worked in 20 states last
okay.
year, and we keep growing with that.
But you started in Central.
We
Do they
started, and this is our own backyard, so we do everything free here. Like, we do all the police fire training, we do all that stuff for free. We assist for free, and that's the way we built the system. Like, the defensive side, the hotel trainings and the other things that we provide, there's a cost for that. That feeds into the offensive side. So everything we do is free for law enforcement, military, such. So.
I was just gonna say the education for parents on what to look for in their kids. Or
True.
So there'll be something coming out within 2 weeks. So January is Human Trafficking Awareness Month, and so we will be pushing out stuff namely for that, for parents and kids as well.
So is there like ribbons, colors that are associated with that for next month?
Yeah, we're trying to.
Let's do
We've got a
it.
shield, and we're trying to push the color blue shield.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, I'd love to talk to you about that. So.
If I'm sitting down in McDonald's,
Yes.
having lunch, and is there anything I should look for if I see, I mean, how would I recognize?
Girls won't look at you. So a girl that's caught up.
Well, that's not unusual.
Well, you'll see them. They're not dressed appropriately for the weather or their age. They may be that they're during school hours. They're just beaten down. You can see it in their eyes, their face. They won't talk to you because that's part of it too. Is if the trafficker's around, if she looks at another guy, she'll get beat down for that. So and you start to monitor and see who she's with. She's speaking another language. Does she have ID? Does she have money? Because they'll take all that stuff from her. And then if somebody's monitoring her and working on behalf of her, like answering all of her questions and paying for her and doing stuff, that it's good telltale sign.
And that's what I get rid of it. So if I'm sitting there and this girl's sitting there just kind of downcast and somebody else is bringing her food, and she just, yeah, I might say, hey, maybe I should say something to somebody.
And we're cautious about how much to get the community involved in a situation, because it'll actually put the girl in jeopardy. Now there is ways that you could call the police. If you notice that nobody else is around, you can confront her and just ask her if she's okay. I just did that 2 weeks ago, and there were 2 girls that I monitored and watched, and sure enough, it was happening there too. So.
Were you able to take care of them?
Yeah, we've got a great relationship with the loft in Bend. Yeah. But that's the time. I know there's a lot of questions, and I hate the fact that we have to talk about this over lunch. It's a hard topic, but thank you for letting me be here. If there's anything you need from us, trainings, just somebody to talk to or whatever, we're here. We're literally 15 minutes away. And we're here in Redmond quite a bit, in Madras as well. But yeah, just thank you for the support. Get the word out. There's a lot of things that we could do as a community better. This isn't one of them. Because I think that we are really pushing forward.
I know we're running out of time, but if there's initiatives that youth groups within the high schools, because if it's a self-esteem kind of a situation, we sponsor key clubs at the two bigger high schools.
Okay.
Could key clubs be proactive
Oh,
in
yeah.
helping awareness?
Yeah, Bend High actually has a great one we've spoken at. They're working on some of this as well. Anything with youth is great. We speak to youth. We have groups that speak to youth as well. Because that's where you'll find out. If a girl finds out about these indicators and what's happening, she usually knows somebody else that's going through it.
Thank you for caring.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.